Hey, this is Kelly Roach, and I'm a results leader.
You're listening to ResultsLeader.fm. Being a thought leader is easy. Getting results is hard. This show is for the results leader who lives and dies by their results. Here is your host and Chief Results Leader, Jonathan Rivera.
It's time once again, boys and girls, for another ResultsLeader.fm, and today's inspiration is brought to you by business strategist Kelly Roach. She transforms overworked entrepreneurs into seven-figure CEOs, teaching them timeless business principles employed by billion-dollar corporations. Let's jump into the interview with Kelly. Kelly, welcome to the show. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I am stoked that you are here to join us, and I'm going to jump right into the questions. First one is a softball. We like to give our listeners an easy, quick win. So what book or books have you given most as a gift?
Oh, gosh. Well, I would say The One Thing and Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich and The One Thing. So The One Thing, we don't talk about that one. As everybody talks about Think and Grow Rich. So The One Thing, that's Gary Keller. What was it that really stood out for you in that book?
Oh, it's just so powerful to take the time to understand the core root domino that is going to connect all the other things in the line of goals that you want to achieve. And I think so many times we get the idea of massive action, we get the idea of working really hard, but sometimes we don't take the time to really clarify what is at the root of where my focus actually needs to go to not only achieve this thing that's in front of me right now, but all the other things that are interconnected with it.
Now, what's your one thing?
Oh gosh, I would say mic time. So it's a combination of two things, right? It's leadership and it's mic time. I can't really give one thing, but for me, obviously, in order for our brand to achieve our vision and mission, which is to be the number one business education and leadership development company in the world, we got to get out there and serve. So serving for me is my core focus. But with that also, there has to be a team to execute. So leading and leading is in essence serving. So I guess I could simplify it down to serve.
Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. So I want you to think back and tell me a story of how an apparent failure set you up for later success.
Oh gosh, well, I have so many. So I always talk about my failure launching. So I tried webinars, I tried PLF, I tried sideways sales letter. I did every course program you could think of to try and learn how to sell my products and programs. And I really struggle with the 80 slide deck. I'm more of I want to be on camera with you. I want to do what we're doing right now. I really struggled with all the barriers between, myself and the people that I was trying to serve. So I tried all these methods. Not only did I have multiple zero launches, but I remember one time I invested $10K in a program to learn how to do a webinar. I was still working full-time and building my business on the side. And I was so convinced that I was just going to crush the ball that I took 2 days of work off following my webinar because I knew I was going to be so busy enrolling clients and getting my new clients into consults. And I had 0 consults, 0 sales. I was not only out the 10K, but months of work and preparation. And all this really led to me recognizing my strength, which is interacting with people. It's being live, it's being present with people, and it's getting rid of all the tech barriers to serve. So you asked me what my one thing was earlier, and I simplified it down to serve. So that is really what led to the creation of the live launch method, which is all about being live. It's about simplify to multiply. It's about getting rid of all the tech, focusing on being present with your people. And that is really the one strategy that took us from a 7-figure company to a multiple 8-figure company and really catapulted the brand. Because apparently I'm not the only person that struggles with tech. And apparently I'm not the only person that struggles with the complexity of launching. So that worked out pretty well for me.
I probably went into that 10K program too and found out webinars were not for me.
Yes.
But you know what I always say is I paid that 10K to learn what not to do.
Oh, 100%. I wouldn't do anything differently because here's the thing. Everyone wants to skip over the failures and go straight to success. If you don't have the failures, you'll never make it to success. The only way that you figure out how to get to where you're going is by taking that information and being like, okay, if this, then that, don't go that way, go this way. So I wouldn't take any of it back.
I'm
I wouldn't
with
take
you.
any of it back.
I'm with you on that. So now that we're talking about investments, what would you say is the most worthwhile investment you have ever made?
Mentorship, coaching. I'm always working with mentors, coaches, about to start coaching with Jay Abraham. And I think people think coaching is something that you want to stop doing as soon as possible. They're like, I just want to get successful so I don't have to spend this money on coaching anymore. I am of the opposite belief. I think the more that you invest in yourself, the more you evolve and grow, the more that your company is going to evolve and grow. And so I would say definitely mentorship, number one. And I would say number two, you didn't ask for number two and number three, but I'll give them to you anyway. Number two, team, right? Building a winning team. And number three, advertising, visibility, right? Spending time and money getting in front of people so you're discoverable.
Yeah. So how did you, because you said that was it a corporate career? You had a career before you moved into this. How did you discover the concept of coaching and mentorship?
Yeah. So exactly. So I was a senior vice president for a Fortune 500. I started in the lowest, most entry level role. I was promoted 7 times in 8 years, built a team of 100 people. And, I fell in love with coaching actually in my corporate career because that's all I was doing, really. I was managing 17 locations and I was the strategist. I had full P&L responsibility and my job was to coach people to success. And so that's where I really fell in love with coaching. I never really had a goal of being an entrepreneur, but as my career progressed and as I kind of got clear on my vision for my life, I was like, I want to travel the world. I want to have a freedom-based business. I want to be able to put my family first. I knew that I could make far more than the CEO of that company if I used the skills I had developed. So that's when I really started looking to, well, how can I take these coaching skills and apply them to a broader market on my own versus just doing it internally inside this one company.
So I have to take a slight detour here, and I have to ask you, what does it mean to put your family first?
Exactly that. I mean, it is for me. So I have a 7-year-old daughter. When I look at my calendar, anything that's important for her, that goes on first. It's the ability to say, and on Tuesday, I'm not available because Madison has this. And, on Fridays, I'm going to be done at 12 o'clock and I'm going to be at the beach with my family. And on Thursdays, I'm going to be done at 2:30 because Madison has gymnastics. I run a multiple 8-figure company. I have 3 other businesses with partners. I run a philanthropic foundation. And I'm the mom that sets up the play date. I'm the mom that sits and watches Madison and her friends when they come over. I'm at gymnastics. I'm at dance. And to me, being able to put your family first is not feeling like you have to compromise your relationship with your children or your spouse in order to pursue success. It's the ability to say, this is my dedicated family time and these are my life priorities. And then I'm going to build my business around that.
I hear you talking about calendar control, and controlling it with the family first is a great way to do it. I love that. We spent the morning out with our 7-year-old son playing soccer and getting breakfast. So I feel you. So let's talk about, let's look back over the last 5 years. What new belief, behavior, or habit has most improved your life?
Oh, well, I would say when you start building a team and a company, I love raising people up. I love bringing people in and mentoring them and coaching and developing them. And that got us to a certain level of success. And it's been an awesome experience. My first hire ever is still with my company now. She started as an intern. Now she's my vice president of sales. So that journey has been incredible. But a big learning for me in the last 12 months is your business does get to a certain level where you have to actually go out and hire people that have more experience than you do, that have more knowledge than you do. My new role, and now I'm hiring my C-suite and VPs is, they have to be smarter, more talented, more experienced, wiser than I am. So it's going from you being the top person that's teaching everyone else to actually now I'm interviewing and making an offer this week for a COO. And I'm excited because I get to learn from them. And so it's a huge dynamic change. It's a really big flip in roles. But I think if you can open yourself up to that and you realize you don't have to know everything, be everything, do everything, own everything, teach everything, that's a huge weight off of our shoulders, right?
Oh man, nobody has even spoken about that on the show. People have touched on it, but I'm glad you brought it to the show. And it says a lot about you and your growth and your journey, because you're letting go of that ego where you own everything and you're saying, hey, I can hire somebody and bring in the talent. I'm playing with this new idea of the concept is everybody out there talks about working smarter. And I'm telling everybody we need to work dumber and hire smarter. Like I just need to do what I do and stay in my lane.
Oh, yeah. That is it right there.
Cool.
For sure.
So let's have a little fun if you want to. What are some bad recommendations you hear in your area of expertise?
Oh, so, I mean, how much time do we have? The first one is you don't need a team. You can just go hire someone for $200 a month in the Philippines. I hear that constantly, that you should run lean and only hire contractors, don't hire full-time employees. That's killed more businesses than I can even describe. That's number one. Number two is that if you price yourself high ticket, that will make it harder to grow. And this is the advice and guidance out there. Like, across the board in the coaching space, it's all low ticket, low ticket, low ticket. And it's just as hard to sell low ticket as it is high ticket. There's just as much work involved. I think it's so interesting that everyone thinks that courses are going to be like the magic bullet that makes them millions, when the vast majority of courses cost more money to create and record and build and sell than the people actually make from them. So I think to simplify down your question, I would say, there are no shortcuts to building a sustainable, profitable company. And so it doesn't mean you need to do it the hard way, but if something, looks too good to be true, it probably is. And, doing things the right way always pays off in the end. Sometimes doing things the right way is a lot harder up front. Sometimes it's more expensive up front, but it always pays off in the end. So that would be the advice I would give.
All right. Now we're going to get into what the show is really about. That was the appetizer. Yeah, we're about to get into the fun part of the interview where we talk about results. But first, I have to ask you, what questions do you have? What thoughts do you have? What are your big takeaways from this episode? Drop them on social media. Share the show. Use hashtag ResultsLeaderFM, and I'll be out there looking for your comments, looking for your questions, looking for your encouragement. Now let's get back into the show. Now we're going to talk about results. So Kelly, why do results matter?
Well, I think that as human beings in general, the thing that keeps us motivated and engaged in life is progress. Right? It's growth, it's progress in some way, shape, or form, and we see just even in nature, when things stagnate, they die, right? So I think results matter, because if there isn't an outcome, if there isn't ever a mile marker that says, yes, success, this was a win, then you're on this just never ending treadmill to nowhere. And it's like, well, why am I even doing what I'm doing? Right?
Yeah. So we're going to think back again. In the last 5 years, what new realization has helped you get better results for your clients?
Simplification. I mean, I feel like we're on a constant journey to simplify. The more that we simplify, the more that we multiply, and the better results our clients get. And we're even right now, the Unstoppable Entrepreneur is my flagship program. We have, 700 people, and it's a high ticket, business incubator. And even now we are getting ready to go back in, completely redesign the membership site and massively simplify it. Sometimes you think more is more. Most of the time, less is more. So clearer strategy, more simplified strategy, really pointing people to exactly what to do, when, and how. And the more that you simplify, the more you can multiply.
How often do you do that? Go back, because redoing a program takes commitment and time. How often do you go back and do that?
Well, we make changes to the program every quarter. So every quarter we try to make improvements and refinements. But I would say we completely redid the membership site about a year ago, and now we're doing it all over again. So it's just a constant evolution. And, I think that it's a lot of work. It's not something that I look forward to at all. It's not something that I enjoy doing at all. But I think if you want to create relevancy for your brand over time, when you stop growing and when you stop improving, whether or not you want that to be apparent to the market, it will be. And so I think that if you want to have that sustainability over time, that's part of the deal, right? It's like never ending improvement is part of the deal, especially we're in the space of transformation. So we have to be transforming if we're saying we're the best teachers at helping others to do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's think internally now. What area of your business would you like better results?
Oh, everything. Always. I'm never satisfied. I will never be satisfied. I always think there's a million and one areas that we can improve. I'm always focused on lifetime value of the customer. So my ultimate vision is when a customer joins us in the Unstoppable Entrepreneur, I want to see them grow through all stages of business with us and ultimately have a self-led company where they can, step out of the day-to-day operation. So I would say right now, a big focus of mine is increasing lifetime value and really differentiating and distinguishing between the levels and phases of growth for people to move through the tiers of our programming.
What results are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of the clients' lives who have changed. I get into our Facebook group for our programs, and it's almost every morning that I wake up and I hit refresh in the feed and I see someone posting, I'm in tears. My whole life has changed. This is where I was when I joined. This is where I am now. And this is what I'm doing. And then it follows by a story, whether it's about buying their dream home or retiring their spouse or paying off their debt or putting their kids in private school or, just whatever it is. And to me, like, that's the biggest motivating factor is like being able to make an impact and knowing that the work that you do is actually delivering on the promise. That is like my biggest motivator. And my biggest priority is knowing that the promise that we make is being exceeded and that's then creating the change in the world that we're trying to create.
Beautiful. So any parting thoughts as we're coming to the end here?
I mean, my biggest thing always is whatever you want to do, whatever dream you have, it was planted inside you because you were meant to achieve it. And I think the biggest thing that is hard for people in society today, in culture today, with social media and everything that we're dealing with is many times when we're failing, and let's be honest, a lot of our journey, we're failing in one respect or another. Most of my journey, I was failing in one respect or another. You have those moments where you're riding high and you're like, yes, I freaking nailed that. But most of the time you're like, failure. I think the thing that's so hard for people is that on social media, it looks like others are achieving results so quickly and with such ease. And then when you're failing, you feel like maybe you're not meant to achieve that big dream because you would be seeing results sooner and better and easier if you were. And the big message that I want to share with the world is, no, that failure is your catapult. That is what is giving you the information that you need in order to take that next step. And it's just about you staying the course, processing that information and really keeping your eye on the prize. And I believe we all have a purpose. And, not everyone's meant to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone's meant to be a leader, but we each have a purpose. And I think just remembering that social media is the highlight reel. The stories that you see your mentors tell. When I say, we just had a multi-million-dollar month, well, guess what? That was after having many, many, many months of struggle or zero or, reinvesting. And it's just putting that in perspective, not comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 15. And that took me a long time to learn. And so that's why I hope that by sharing that, hopefully it empowers someone that's listening to the show today.
There is no doubt in my mind that after listening to this, people are going to want to get more from you. Where can they go?
Yeah. So I would say the number one place is the Unstoppable Entrepreneur Show, which is my podcast. There's over 600, almost 700 episodes now. So I deliver new episodes every single week. So come hang out, listen to the show. And I am Kelly Roach Official on Instagram. Send me a DM. I'd love to hear from you guys.
Beautiful. Kelly, thank you so much for bringing the inspiration, bringing the insights, and bringing your perspective on results to the show. We appreciate you. And thank you, results leaders, for tuning in. We will be back in your earbuds next time. That is a wrap for another edition of ResultsLeader.fm. If you are out there getting results for your clients and you want to be featured on the show, go to ResultsLeader.fm now and apply to be on the show. And if you love what you're hearing, share the show, give us a rating and review, do anything to help us get the message out there. Thought leadership is easy, but results leadership is hard.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.